Register?
Yeah, you can just.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Can someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Thank you, Madhusudan Bhai. Good afternoon and welcome one and all. Thank you, Rishabh, for helping us to set up. I will now pass the mic to the MC, Ranjan Ben, to take us along before we pass on to Komal. Komal, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, the rest of you, please mute yourselves. Ranjan Ben, please come forward.
Thank you, Bharti Ben. Good afternoon to all. Thank you all for joining this virtual talk on detoxification, sorry for that, for a healthier you. As someone once said, the show must go on. Not that this is a show, but I appreciate your effort to be together virtually. Our next event is an Antakshari on Zoom, 3 in a team, 1,000 shillings per team. Anyone from around the globe can participate. The prelims will be on 19th June and the finals on the evening of 20th June 2021. The event will be conducted by Dipesh Pai Mehta, a world record master. Today we have invited Komal Shah to talk about detox. Detox is one of those words we often hear, but honestly, what does it mean? Why do natural health practitioners often talk about detoxification? Doesn't my body get rid of toxins as a natural process anyway? What is actually involved in effective detoxification? Sorry about that. Let's learn from Komal. Before I hand over the session to her, I would like to thank Oshwal Mahila Mandal Committee, the office bearers and staff of Visa Oshwal community, the participants of today's virtual meeting, and Komal. It is my privilege to introduce Komal to all of you. Komal is a nutritionist from the University of Nottingham, yoga therapist from Swami Vivekanand Yoga University, Bangalore, and naturopath from Gorakhpur School of Naturopathy. Has her own practice, Health in Your Hands, in Nairobi since the last 10 years. World champion, first position in Toastmaster speech contest, 2016 from 13,000 global entries. Tutored both adults and children in public speaking. Yoga therapist, tutored children in special education department at Oshwal Academy. Has her own yoga breathing show on East FM. Invited to speak at United Nations, BBC, local TV and radio stations. Oshwal Awards winner in 2016. Founder of Komal J Youth Association, organizes programs for children and adults. That's about, and I'll hand it to Komal now, who will start the talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay, so we can start.
Yeah.
Detoxification for a healthier, younger you. We couldn't have picked a better topic, especially in this pandemic time. It is quite evident that we all are in need of a detox, be it now or even afterwards in life. How we give our car for servicing maybe twice in a year, we really need to detox our body, because if we don't, we tend to build up a lot of filth in it. And sorry. Can you wait just? Okay. So if you, okay, sorry. So are we okay now? Okay.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So as I was saying, that we need to detox our body like we clean our car, give it to the mechanic twice in a year. Similarly, we need to detox our body for the simple reason that it is an analog device and it gets clogged up with all sorts of filths. We have several excretory organs, some of which we are very well aware of. The nose, the mouth where we can spit out things, the large intestine where we can release the stool, and the urinary tract where we can release the urine, and the skin to remove sweat. Now, these are very vital organs, and if these organs get clogged up inside the body, even we have lymph nodes in this area. And it is extremely important to keep cleaning them so that when a pandemic comes, we are not, in a totally distressful state. So let's start with the word disease. Let's break it down. Dis plus ease. There is an uneasiness. Uneasiness might not be just in the physical body, but it also might be in the mind. It might be on some emotional level. It could be anywhere, and then eventually it penetrates on the physical body. So dis-ease, in its real essence, there is nothing like disease. There is just uneasiness. And if this uneasiness can be removed very systematically and naturally, we are bound to be healthy, because the body is always longing to be healthy, meaning the cells are designed to be healthy. Let's take an example. For example, somebody has got cancer in the body. It means to say that there are just a very small percentage. For example, 5 million cells might be unhealthy, but the remaining 6 billion cells in the body are healthy. So it is very easy to turn back the process if we believe in ourselves, if we get the right treatment, and more importantly, if we follow the plan. So let's further talk about what is stress. Stress is a reaction. We have it in our hands how we will react to a situation. We might not be able to control the situation, but the reaction is in our hands. If we learn to react properly, to respond properly, then naturally the physical body, nor the mind, nor the emotional body will get unhappy or unhealthy. So we have talked about two important terms. One is disease, so dis plus ease, and the second one is stress. It is very easy to blame things on stress or the external environment, but if we learn how to react to the situation, we might not get as stressed up as we would normally get stressed up. There are three areas where we need to detoxify. The first area is your clean air. Second is the water that you consume. And third is your physical body. We give overimportance to diet when in its real essence, 70% of the body is made out of water. If the quality of water is not good, we're bound to get ill. If we're not using the full capacity of our lungs, we're bound to get ill. So it is very important to breathe correctly. I've received many requests that we should do a breathing session. We should learn how to breathe correctly. And most definitely we will, maybe in another session. But it is extremely important to use the full capacity of our lungs. We are probably only using 5 to 10% of it. And so we get diseased. The air will come out through both your nostrils. And this is to say that we can remove 70% of the filth if we breathe properly. I will repeat this. We can remove 70% of the filth if we can breathe properly. The remaining 30%, the remaining organs will do it. So breath is extremely important, and it is not necessarily doing pranayam, but it is just normal breathing. If we can breathe properly, meaning if we can breathe through the abdominal area where the stomach is, and if we can push air down to the abdomen, It is extremely, extremely useful. And not only that, but it is extremely beneficial. So we all know that oxygen plays a vital role in the physical body, be it for digestion, be it to keep the organs clean and healthy and alive, or even just to keep us in like a good state of mind. We need oxygen. But breath has one additional benefit, which some of us know about. And that is that the breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. Meaning, if we breathe properly, we can even release the negative emotions. For example, we can set an intention that I choose to be happy and I release anger. Or I choose to be peaceful and I release any sort of ill thoughts about myself. So when you set an intention and then when you start to breathe, the breathing will be more effective. So set an intention before you start your breathing for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you might be doing daily. Try and set an intention. Maybe today you feel angry. So say, I release anger and I replace it with peace. You don't have to continuously say it. Just say it once and then start your breathing. Now, breath is, how is it supposed to be done? Imagine when you blow air in a balloon, the balloon opens up. It opens up very wide. In the same sense, when we breathe in air, the abdominal area is supposed to bulge outwards like a balloon. And when we breathe out, the abdominal area is supposed to go back inside. Now, most of us, we use the diaphragm for breathing. We take it up and down, up and down, up and down, and this is the wrong form of breathing. So let's try and use the abdominal area for breathing, keeping in mind that we can release 70% of the filth through breath. Let's now come to water. Our body is predominantly made out of water. So the water, the quality of water has to be extremely good quality of water. These days in Nairobi, we get a lot of bottled water, which we bring home like in a plastic, in like a huge plastic bottle. So what happens is that water is actually stagnant. It might be in the supermarket for weeks. It might have been manufactured before that. It comes, it sits in the supermarket for a few weeks. We bring it home. Maybe that big water bottle might last maybe 3 weeks. So the water keeps on getting stagnant and stagnant. And in order for the water companies to make sure that it remains fresh, they put a lot of additives and chemicals in it. And so this is not the best form of water for us. If we can start to boil our water, meaning if I want to drink water today, I have water only for today. Then I boil my next amount of water for tomorrow. Make sure you do not drink today's water tomorrow and tomorrow's water day after tomorrow. Ensure that whatever water you're drinking is just for that one day. Another simple tip can be, maybe you're in a place where you cannot boil water. So what can you do then? Then you can take a few pieces of loving, which is clove, and put it in your water, which can remain fresh for about 6 hours. Then remove those cloves and like replace it with fresh clove. So this way, the water will remain fresh for another 6 hours. So every 6 hours, if you do this, it has the spice has that capacity to keep the water clean. So these are 2 tips. Either boil your water wherever it is possible. At home, it is possible. Maybe if you're traveling, it might not be possible. So this is one alternative, that try and use this spice, loving, and this will actually help to keep the water clean for 6 hours and then change it again. The water that you drink, try to sit down and drink. Don't stand and drink, because that weakens your central nervous system. And that is a very important integral part of the body. So try to sit down quietly, peacefully drink water, because water also has got elements in it, which if you're thinking negatively, it can work negatively on your body. So the mind plays a huge role. I'm sure you all have heard about this experiment done by this Japanese doctor. He keeps two plants on the side. On one plant, he writes, "I am happy." On the second plant, he has written, "I am angry." And the plant where it is written, "I am happy," and he's adding water to it, it is growing very, very well. The plant where it is labeled as "I am angry," it does not grow well. Similarly, in the body, try to drink water with a good intention whenever you're drinking water. Now, the next question might be, how much water do I need? It might vary from person to person or depending on your age. If you have some sort of problem, you might need to consult a doctor how much water you need. But on just an average, between 6 to 8 glasses is enough, or maybe even less than that might be enough if you're living in a cold country. So try to be a judge of yourself how much water you need. Another very important point is sometimes we feel hungry in the middle of the day, but we don't realize that it is actually thirst and it is not hunger. So whenever you're feeling peckish or hungry or, like a sort of a craving in the middle of the day, first take 1 glass of water and you will notice that immediately your hunger starts to dissolve, because it is never really hunger in the middle of the day. It is actually thirst. Let's understand another vital, let's try to understand another principle of nature, which is extremely important for us. We all have a clock at home, 12 and 6, 3 and 9. Similarly, the body has an organ clock, meaning to say that we are supposed to be taking food, rest, water, etc. at a particular time. And nobody has made this organ clock. No nutritionist, no doctor, nobody has made this. This is naturally there. And if we can follow the organ clock, if you go onto Google, you will be able to see very nice pictures of it. So the organ clock helps us to keep our body healthy. For example, from 3 to 5 in the morning, the lungs are active. So this is a good time for breathing, for meditation, or to just be calm and to sit quietly and to just watch our breath. From 5 to 7 in the morning, the large intestine is active. So if you are maybe taking some form of a natural laxative, this is a good time to take between 5 and 6 o'clock or between 5 and 6:30, because when you take that laxative at that time, what happens, it goes directly into the large intestine because it is active at that time. And if you're taking that laxative, it will be more useful than, because normally we hear people taking laxatives at night. But this is a better time to take a laxative rather than taking it at night. And of course, don't be in the habit of taking a laxative, but this is a better time to take, because between 5 and 7 in the morning, the large intestine is naturally active. We have all heard of the phrase, eat breakfast like a king. Now let's look at the word break, fast. You're breaking a fast. And because you're breaking a fast, it is unfair to bombard heavy foods in the body. So the phrase eat your breakfast like a king is actually false and more of an advertisement strategy to sell certain foods. It could be cereals, it could be protein bars, it could be anything of that sort, because you're breaking a fast. So try to keep it light at that time. And this is something which the body is naturally asking for. And if you try it for a few days, you will actually notice that your hunger, which was initially there in the morning, naturally starts to decrease. Without any nutritionist, any doctor telling you about it, it will slowly start to go down, because the body is naturally designed in the morning to take more water. And as the day goes ahead, then if you take food, it is very good. So the best food in the morning might be fruits. Again, don't do this if you have any sort of medical problem. It is better you consult a nutritionist or a doctor. So breaking a fast in the morning is very important. You must break it in the correct way. Then between 1 and 3 p.m. in the afternoon, the small intestine is active. That's when maximum digestion happens. So eat your lunch like a king. Eat as much as you want to. Of course, don't overeat, but try to take a good lunch. Normally, the Indian lunch might be roti and shak with some vegetables, salad, chash. That's the normal sort of lunch. So which is a good lunch, which is a very good lunch because it has got the wheat chapati has got a percentage of even protein in it. It's not that the wheat chapati is only carbohydrate. The wheat chapati also has a certain percentage of protein. So you are getting a balanced diet. The vegetables have all the nutrients and the fiber. Chash is very good for digestion. And like salad is like obviously again very good for like fiber. So that's the normal sort of lunch that we have, and which is fine. If you are changing it, if you're tuned in from another country where you might be having a different sort of a lunch, that should be okay as well, as long as it is a balanced lunch. So between 1 to 3 p.m., the small intestine is active. And so that is a good time to eat. Maybe if you are at home, I mean, the better time to eat is between 12 and 1. If you are at work, obviously you will have to eat at the time that you're given for your lunch period. But the good time generally to eat is between 12 and 1, because this gives ample time for food for digestion, because the food sits in the stomach for approximately 45 minutes. Then it moves down to the small intestine, and that's when the remaining digestion happens. Next, the kidneys are active between 5 and 7 in the evening. So water taken after 7 o'clock is not ideal. It's not to deny you of taking water, but you should understand that it is not ideal. So the maximum amount of water should be consumed between 6 in the morning and 6 p.m. That's a good time to take water, because the kidneys will be able to digest it, and it will not sit in the body. After 7 o'clock, it just sits in the body and it's not really helping. It might create other problems as well if it is just sitting over there. So take your maximum amount of water between 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. Don't deny yourself from taking it in the evening if you need it, but just remember that the maximum amount of water should be taken in the daylight. After that, the hormonal cycle is active after 7 o'clock. So that is a good time for like recreation. And after about 9-10 o'clock, we should actually be going to sleep, because that's when the hormonal cycle continues to clean up. And in the at about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock at night, the liver is active. So it is again very important to give rest at that time. Do not watch TV or do not be on the phone before you go to sleep, because we might not realize on YouTube when we scroll, we're looking at maybe hundreds of things. And unintentionally, we are feeding all that information in the mind. And when we feed all that information in the mind is busy at the hour of sleeping. And so the quality of sleep starts to deplete. And so obviously, like none of us want that, because sleep is as important as working. During sleep hours, we need to rest the mind so that when in the awake hours, we can work properly. So try to switch off your phone, switch off your Wi-Fi before you go to bed, because Wi-Fi radiation is obviously not good for us while we're sleeping, where the surface area is more as compared to when we're standing. The surface area is obviously more, and so try to avoid any form of like radiation when you're going to sleep, because your healing process will start to slow down if any form of like radiation is interfering at that time. So this is how the organ clock works. And again, it is very important for us to understand the organ clock and also to realize that nobody has created it, how the birds and the animals are part and parcel of nature. If we can also start to live naturally how the organ clock is, you will notice that our disease levels also start to decrease. Now let's go into the physical body. We have the large intestine, which is approximately 13 meters long, which is quite long. I mean, very, very long. So, sorry, it is 7 meters long. And it can hold between 3 to 13 kilograms of filth. The large intestine is 7 meters long, and it can store between 3 to 13 kilograms of filth, which is a lot, which is a lot. So regularly, we need to keep the large intestine clean, because if the large intestine is not clean, the filth from there is going to leak out. If it leaks out, it is going to go to your most vulnerable organ. And in Indian ladies, we tend to have a lot of joint problems, knee problems. Where is this cropping from? This is cropping from the whole concept of it goes to the area where it is most vulnerable. That's point number one. Point number two, our joints have a large number of alkaline salts. What does alkalinity mean? It means it is the opposite of being acidic. And whatever is coming and the filth which is being stored in your knees or in any joints is highly acidic. And because it is acidic, it chooses your joints because it wants to take the salts from there, the alkaline salts, and replace the acid over there so that the blood pH also remains normal. So if you want to work on your knees, you need to work on your large intestine. You need to start keeping it clean, maybe decrease your meals. Don't overeat, don't eat at the wrong time. For example, don't take a heavy dinner and a light lunch, or a very heavy breakfast and no lunch and a heavy dinner. Try to eat at the right time, which is lunch is a good time to eat properly. So we talked about the knees. Now let's move to the heart. Again, if food is not properly digested, it can move to the heart, which might be in some people like a vulnerable state. The arteries start to get clogged up because it starts to deposit the food which is not digested, and then eventually, if this is the this is the width of the artery, it starts to decrease. Eventually, it decreases to the extent where a heart attack happens. So once again, everything is boiling down to how your digestion is taking place. So how can we improve our digestion? Eat slowly. It might be difficult in the beginning because we might not be used to it. But try to eat slowly. Take your time. Try to chew your food. The more you chew your food, your mouth will be satisfied. And if your mouth is satisfied, you will tend to eat less. For example, you might be eating 2 rotis. From there, it might cut down to 1.5 rotis simply because you have chewed properly. So try to chew properly as much as you can. Try to let the juice form in the mouth and then swallow it down. And you will notice that we don't need a lot of food to exist. And so let's try to chew our food. So that's one way. Second thing is, let's not use any devices when we're eating, our phones or laptops or anything of that sort. Let's try to focus only on eating. Eat in the present state. Don't think about other things. It could be your work. It could be a meeting after work. It could be that you might need to pick up your children afterwards. But don't try to think about all these things when you're eating, because this will make your digestive capacity less. And a question which normally comes up is like salad good if I have a digestive problem? The answer is yes, salad is good, but it depends on your digestive system, because raw vegetables take a longer time to ignite. In case if you're suffering from any form of digestive problems, try to cook your salad slightly so that the nature of the food will change. And then when you take the salad, it's fine then. It actually might work better. And now, how do we cook our vegetables? Because normally how we cook our vegetables is that we tend to put salt first in our curry. Let's try to put salt last, because salt robs the nutrients. Try to put salt last in your food, so this will make sure that the nutrients are there. If you're using any sort of gravy, let it be a fresh gravy. And don't let the gravy cook for too long, because that becomes highly acidic. If you are fine, if you are of an age where you can chew vegetables properly, try to make your vegetables slightly raw. If your vegetables are slightly raw, it will retain its alkalinity, because the body naturally demands alkalinity. So try to keep your vegetables slightly raw so that you maintain that alkalinity. So these are a few tips how you can improve your digestion. So we talked about the large intestine, that it can hold between 3 to 13 kilograms of filth. So let's try and clean it naturally using natural laxatives as and when need be. Moving on to your liver. The liver is the powerhouse of the whole body. It performs 200 separate functions at the same time. It's doing a lot of work. So let's not give it more stress. Try to do a liver detox regularly, maybe with a naturopath or maybe with a nutritionist who knows how to do it, so that your liver remains clean. It performs so many separate functions that it is extremely necessary for us to keep cleaning our liver at least twice in a year. And this will be very helpful, because when you look at viruses, bacteria, fungus, cancer, they all live in a place where there's no oxygen. If we can oxygenate our body with natural foods, well, it is a bit difficult to get organic foods, but maybe what we can do is, like the vegetables that we bring home, we can clean it with warm water and soda bicarbonate and just like soak the vegetables, the fruit in that, so that the chemicals on top can like start to come out. So that's one tip, how you can remove the excess, any additives that there might be adding, any chemicals, any other unnatural ingredients which are not good for us. So coming back to the liver, let's not give it further stress. Now, there is one important aspect how we're giving stress to the liver. On bottles, generally it is written, take me after the age of 50, take me for this, take me for that. But the reality is, have you done a test? Are you deficient in vitamin A, B, C, D, E? Are you really deficient? Because when you're not deficient and you take multivitamins, you're actually putting a stress on your liver. For example, you might not be deficient in vitamin A, but you might be taking multivitamins and it is just a stress on the liver when you only might be needing, for example, vitamin C. So get a test done and then try to consume them. Let's understand, are these multivitamins as effective as they make it sound? Now, if you look at like vitamin A, 70% of it, the body has to throw it out when it is in a pill form. And because it is in a pill form, it is not bioavailable. Bioavailable means that the body cannot use it as well as a natural food. And because of that, only 30% of it is used and 70% is a stress on your liver. So if possible, try to avoid it, get a test done, check what you need. Vitamin E, for example, 60% of it, the body can use it, 40% the body has to throw it out. And these pills are actually laced with a lot of radioactivity. So you're also giving radioactivity to your body. So if you don't need them, please do not consume it. Only take what you need and replace the rest with natural foods so that it is bioavailable and the body can use at least 90% of it, if not 100%. Moving on to your bloodstream. And as you can notice, I'm talking in stages. I started with the large intestine, then I moved to the liver. Now I'm moving to the blood. I did not start with the blood, going to the liver and then the large intestine, because the large intestine needs to be clean first in order for the filth to get pushed into the large intestine for it to come out. And then the blood cleanse also, if the large intestine is clean, it can push all that filth which is in the blood and it can give it to your large intestine. And so then you can start to remove it. Blood cleanse is highly important. For example, somebody might be suffering from high blood pressure. Now, high blood pressure is something, not in all cases, in some cases, it is temporary. But because we are put on a pill, we tend to continue it for the rest of our lives. It is not a permanent problem. You need to realize this, that when you're consuming pills, they are not supposed to be there for a lifetime. High blood pressure, it could be any other sort of diseases. It could be a sugar problem, it could be thyroid problem. You are supposed to sort it out using natural remedies instead of being on pills for the rest of your life. Let me give you an example of one of my patients. He had high blood pressure for a short time and he controlled it through two things. One is breathing and one is change of foods. And within 6 weeks, believe it or not, within 6 weeks, he was off all his pills. So it is up to you, it is up to your belief, it is up to your determination if you really want to get rid of these pills. Sometimes we get used to them and we don't really want to get rid of them, but they're not good for us. And it is your choice to change your lifestyle, change your thinking, and to minimize these pills, or if possible, even to get rid of them. So we talked about large intestine. Now we talked about the liver. We talked about the blood. We have teeth, which are connected. Each tooth is connected to each organ of your body. You do not always have to run to the dentist because it might not be a dental problem. It might be that one of your organs is not working properly and it is giving the message through that particular tooth. I'll give you my own example. I had a pain about 3 years ago on the side over here. So for a few days, I'm like, okay, I'll just bear the pain and then I'll go to the dentist. And then when I actually started to look up on the internet and started to do reading, the tooth which was hurting me, it was actually connected to my kidney. And I did a bit of kidney flushes, like a few cleanses, and it was fine. I did not have to run to the dentist. Now, this is not in all cases, but this is just to make you aware that this can help you if and when need be. So each tooth is connected to every organ of the body. And if you can help yourself by identifying that where is the pain, talk to a good specialist, talk to a naturopath, talk to a bioresonance practitioner, they will be able to help you. That where is the pain, what is the problem, and how you can get rid of it, rather than taking injections or any sort of putting metal in your mouth. If you can avoid it, it is good if you can avoid it. Some people have multiple disorders. It could be thyroid problem, it could be sugar, and it could be, for example, high levels of LDL cholesterol. If you look at the three, all of them are pointing towards your liver. Rather than starting on pills very quickly, try to clean your liver. Clean your liver, and you will notice just within weeks, it doesn't even take months, Within weeks, everything starts to get back to normal. And again, when you go for a test, you will notice that everything is back in line. So try to clean your organs regularly, which we are not very well aware of, unfortunately. What we know is that if there's a problem, if I've got diabetes, I start on pills. And I look at diabetes separately, I do not connect it to the whole body. But if you start connecting your hormones to your body, you will actually notice that no, that was the end product. The problem is not the sugar. The problem is actually there's fault somewhere else, and eventually the message is given by a high level of sugar. And what are we doing? We're working only on the symptom level. And we're only trying to decrease the sugar, but we're not working on the root problem, which is to clean an organ. It might be your kidney, it might be your liver. In most cases, for like diabetes, it is your kidneys and your liver. For your thyroid problems, for most cases, it is again the liver. And if you can do a couple of breathing exercises, I had another like yoga client who used to come to me. Within 3 months, her medication dropped from 100 to 25. So it is possible. It is really possible. You need to believe not only in yourself, but also on the natural system of healing, that it works and I can heal myself. So these are a few examples which we all suffer from, and which can be cured in a short period of time without taking medication or like without fearing that what is going to happen next. In this current 18 months, we have been hearing a lot of cases of viruses. It could be fungus. The reality is that a virus cannot kill you. It most definitely cannot kill you. What can kill you is your fear. If you can curb your fear, if you can learn, or if you can educate yourself, or if you can empower yourself with knowledge that, look, this is a virus and I need to do X, Y, Z, and that starts to decrease in itself. I'm talking on a general note. Everybody might be different. Everybody's body might be different. In some bodies, there might be complications. But I'm just talking on a general note that it is fear which kills us more than the actual virus or the fungus or the cancer. Because there are thousands and millions of cases, I mean, all across the world, where people have healed themselves from stage 4 cancer. So I mean, what is a virus if people have healed themselves from stage 4 cancer? Let us try to breathe properly. Let us try to engage ourselves in positive thoughts, because positive thoughts are alkaline in nature and negative thoughts are acidic in nature. And this is how the body starts to get disease, because we don't talk nicely to ourselves. Maybe we're beating ourselves too hard. So let's try to have positive talk to ourselves, maybe to an ill patient, and let's try to help them using these natural modalities. And yes, health is a very easy way of coming back into line. It is a lot easier than we actually think. It is not supposed to be complicated. The reason is because the body naturally wants to be healthy. It is always pro-health. It is never pro-disease. It cannot be, because it is also, I mean, the cells have their own mind, and every person wants to be in a good state. Not person in this case, but every cell wants to be in a good state. So these are a few tips that I've given you where you can help yourself. Consult a nutritionist, consult a naturopath wherever need be, and try to help yourself wherever you can, and take guidance, take somebody's assistance, because when you ask for help, they can help you to monitor for a few weeks. And once your natural habit kicks in, then you do not need their help. But initially ask for help, take their help, take their guidance, meet them once in a week, talk to them, And you will notice that your health starts to boost up simply because of the reason that they're monitoring you. If you have any questions, I have about 15 to 20 minutes of questions. Try to relate it to like today's talk, otherwise we will be going very far away and we might not be able to answer those questions. And even anybody who wishes to do any sort of a detoxification problem, like a program or a health, like if you just want to have a health, like just a small session with me, you are most welcome to come. And anybody who has tuned in today, I'll just put up my email address. Please get in touch with me. And because you've tuned in today, you get a 20% discount on any program that you wish to take. And you might be tuned in from another country. That might not matter because we can always work online. But please ask your questions. Let's try to resolve them. Let's try to boost our health and our happiness. You can unmute yourself and raise your hand in case if you have a question.
Thank you, Komal, on behalf of Oshwa Mela Mandar. Thank you for a very informative talk. To me, I've learned something new. The best time for me to look up my WhatsApp messages was during bedtime. So at least I know now that that is not the right time. We'll take questions from anyone who wants to ask. Is that fine? So anybody who wants to ask, please unmute yourself and ask whatever you want to ask. We have 15 minutes. Is there anyone?
Okay, so it's fine. If you don't have questions, then I can continue on for a few minutes. Okay, so somebody has asked on the chat. Thank you for your time. Can you please suggest ways to detoxify the liver? Okay, thanks for your question. So the answer to that is why I did not go into depth, because every person is different. But just on a general note, what you can do, apple juice is very good because it has got pectin. The second thing which is very good is to mix olive oil and lemon juice and take it early in the morning. As I keep repeating and repeating, do not do it initially by yourself, because you need guidance in the beginning. And I do not know you to just give you advice on a chat like this, but these are the general things that you can do, which is very, very good. And whenever you're doing a liver cleanse, you need to do colon cleanse on the side. If you do both together, they will be highly effective. We did not touch on allergies. Allergies is the same thing. There was a client who had come, and similarly, he got his allergy problem started to decrease just within weeks by just doing a liver cleanse. It works so well that you'll be so happy with the results yourself that you will want to do it again and again, simply because you see very good results and you do not fall ill very quickly. The topic is so wide. Okay, there's one more question. What is the best thing for constipation? So that's a very good question, because I think everyone in some stage of their lives, we do suffer from it. So to answer that question is to eat less. To eat less. You might not need 3 meals. If you are constipated, 2 meals might be fine for you. 1 meal can be fruits, because fruits takes only 2 to 3 hours to break down. As compared to starch, it could be rotli, it could be rice, it could be quinoa, it could be any other starch. It takes between 4 to 5 hours for it to break down. So if you're choosing to eat a heavy meal, let it be for lunch. And for your constipation problem, for a few days, if you can avoid starch totally, you will notice that it'll be very good for you. What are the natural laxatives that you can take? One is isabgul. One is to take like warm water, maybe 2 glasses, 3 glasses early in the morning, because what happens overnight that we tend to hold a lot of sticky material in the entire gut. And so when you take hot water or warm water between 5 and 7 in the morning, when the large intestine is active, you're bound to have a good movement at that time. In case if you're still not having a good movement, you might need to cut out on certain foods for a short period of time, not for life, for a short period of time until your large intestine starts to get back into its peristalsis movement. And for that, walking is very good. Exercise is very good if you can do some certain exercises for the stomach. And also like walking is very, very good for like peristalsis movement. So brisk walking is good for constipation as well. There are a few questions on the chat. I'll just open. What could you do for, okay, please ask your question again. What could you do for RA? Best way to detoxify kidneys. Okay, and then, okay, so best way to detoxify kidneys. Again, for kidneys, you can use celery juice mixed with apple juice. That is a good way to detoxify kidneys. As I repeat again, please don't do it by yourself. The first time you do it with a practitioner. And once you know what exactly that you should be doing by yourself, then continue on by yourself. So the first thing you can do for your kidneys is to drink less water after 7 o'clock. Because after 7 o'clock, it is not digesting well. Minimize your water after 7 o'clock. And the second thing, what you can do for your kidneys is to consume certain juices, which will help you a lot. And you will also need to change your diet depending on your health. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so there's a question for arthritis. I'll just take arthritis in general. Arthritis, itis, I-T-I-S, means inflammation. That that area is inflamed. What is arthritis? Arthritis, in a holistic point of view, is a buildup of acid, a lot of acid that you need to get rid of, and you can get rid of it by doing several things. The first thing is to change your diet, to remove any form of acidic foods. Acidic foods include all bakery items, because they are processed in a very unnatural way. White bread, white sugar. What is white sugar? White sugar is bleach plus carbon. So carbon, which is black in color, they bleached it to make it white. So this is what you're eating. So if you can avoid white sugar, replace it with brown sugar, maybe raisins, dates, wherever appropriate, because everywhere you cannot use the same thing. So there's brown sugar, there's jaggery, which is gourd. You can use dates, you can use raisins, you can use stevia. You can use, I mean, like in Kenya, it is so easy to grow a stevia plant in our garden. And if we can avoid the white stevia, because the original stevia is not white in color, it is almost like a greenish color, because the leaf itself is green. So these are your alternatives for you to replace the acid which is coming from sugar. So we talked about to like remove any bakery items. Next, we talked about sugar. And the third thing for arthritis is to put a hot and cold pack in that area, which will remove the inflammation for a short period of time. But for the long run, you really need to change your diet drastically, because it is not a new problem. Arthritis is a very, very old problem. Itis means inflammation, and that is connected with the emotion of anger. So you also need to work on the emotional body. If you can try to let go of anger, as we talked at the start of the talk, that try to do breathing with intention. For example, I am peaceful, not I will be peaceful. In the present tense, I am peaceful. Try to set that as an intention, or I am happy, or I am satisfied, or I am blissful. Try to set it as an intention, and you will notice that your mind starts to change and the buildup of acid with time decreases. One important tip also for not only for arthritis, for all sorts of diseases, is to affirm to yourself, I am healed. Because we keep reminding and we keep registering in the mind, oh, I am diabetic. Oh, I have arthritis. And we register that. And so the body starts to behave like that. You might be fine, you actually might be fine, but because you keep on reminding yourself that I have diabetes, I'm a diabetic patient, I'm a diabetic patient, eventually the body behaves in a diabetic mode. So continuously keep on telling to yourself, I am healed, I am happy. Don't use a negative phrase. For example, I am not diabetic, because the mind doesn't understand the word not. Try to use a positive statement. I am healthy. I am in a good state of mind. Don't use a negative statement, I am pain-free, because that you're implying to the mind, I am painful. Okay. Anybody else? We can take your talks, or I can touch on one or two other aspects, because the topic is so wide, it becomes quite difficult to okay, there is a question with my body weight after evening meal is 69 and before morning breakfast is 66. So is this variation okay, or I have to take any precautions? Okay, not knowing you or your body, my assumption is that you are retaining water in the body. That is my assumption. And my other assumption is that you might be clearing very well in the morning. So do I have to take any precautions to answer your questions? Maybe reduce your water intake. But then again, don't follow exactly what I'm saying on this live session, because it's better you have a chat with me or with any other nutritionist to actually answer that question. Okay. Any other question? We have a couple of minutes. Okay, gout. Good question, gout. Okay, so gout is uric acid. How is uric acid formed? Uric acid is the end product of bacterial, viral, and fungal residue. Gout can actually be decreased if we can oxygenate the body, number one, for sure. If we can oxygenate the body, start breathing properly. Again and again, I will repeat the same things, that try to use your maximum lung capacity. If you can oxygenate your body, remember this one point, even if you don't remember anything else from this talk, that you release 70% of your filth through your nostrils. So breathe properly, and you will notice that a large amount of diseases starts to decrease. Again, for uric acid, what can be done? For uric acid, you can take a pinch. When I say a pinch, I mean this much, not even a quarter. Less than a quarter of a teaspoon of soda bicarbonate. Why soda bicarbonate? Look at the formula, CO3. Bi means 2. So multiply the CO3 times 2, that gives you 6 molecules of oxygen. So you're oxygenating your body. So take a very, very small pinch of soda bicarbonate in half a glass or 1 glass of water, and that uric acid starts to decrease. Now you are releasing it through your urine, but don't increase uric acid through your mouth. So don't eat foods which were cooked yesterday, because they have a large amount of acid in it. The food chemistry changes. Try to eat food fresh. Don't eat food from the freezer. Try to eat it as fresh as possible. Try to alkalize your body by taking alkaline water. For example, it can be like putting a little bit of lemon in your water, or a few slices of cucumber, few leaves of mint, and try to take alkaline water throughout the day. And this will really help you to keep your uric acid away. But again, these are remedies the root cause of the problem are two things, which is one is your diet and one is your mental state of mind, where you're creating uric acid in the body unnecessarily. So these remedies are very, very good. They will be highly effective, but focus also on getting rid of anger, getting rid of maybe self-negative thoughts, which like produce acid in the body. When to take soda bicarbonate? The best time to take any of these alkaline waters is in the morning, early in the morning. And in case if you don't like the idea of like soda bicarbonate, because some people think it is not good, but the reality is it is not as bad as we think. In case if you don't want to take it, you can take 2 glasses of warm water. Okay, we can take one question. Okay, so we had a chat with Bharti Ben of Oshwal Mela Mandir, who has been working very hard for the last 2 weeks to get this talk to all of us over here. So thank you very much, Bharti Ben, and your entire team. And we thought it is very, very important that we all learn how to breathe properly, because breath is extremely important. What we didn't touch on today is sunlight. Sunlight is extremely important again, simply because of the reason it activates our mind, it makes us feel good. We need to do things that make us feel good. And sunlight is one of those things. If we can get the natural energy from sunlight on a daily basis, it is very good. So when's the best time to take sunlight? You can take it early in the morning, or you can take it during sunset, because those are the 2 times when the sun does not have any negative effect on the body. And cover your head with a cap, or maybe put a wet towel on your head, so that at least to avoid any form of negative like side effects, like with the sunlight. So just try to cover your head. Okay, great. So I'll just put my email address in case if you're not comfortable to share your question here, you can always write to me, and hopefully I will be able to assist you. Okay, any more questions? Otherwise we can end today's session.
Komal, I think we can have our next session on how to breathe very soon.
Yeah, sure, that'll be a good idea. And I think it was quite enjoyable also for me to speak on these aspects, because they're very important. And also it is very important, just as a closing line, that is, it is very important for us to identify that health is not as difficult as we make it appear. It is.
Komal, there's one question I think you missed from Sureka.
Sureka, I can't see her question. Please repeat your question, Sureka. Okay, I have seen it. I just write to me privately, and I will definitely answer your question. Yeah. Okay, great. So I think we're done for today. And just as a closing statement, what was it even? I was talking to you and I forgot. Okay, so yeah, so the closing statement is that, yeah, health is actually easier than we think. It is actually difficult to be diseased than it is to be healthy. So let's aim and have this very firm concept in the mind that I am healthy, not I will be healthy, or not that I am diabetic and I will be healthy one day. No, I am healthy right now in this moment of time. Okay, thanks, and goodbye. Have a nice evening, everybody.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you to a wonderful audience, and have a nice evening.